Today I'm going to do a superset between weighted pull-ups and exploring different handstand push-up positions. So most people think of the handstand push-up as being this standard position, straight line, coming down, touching, coming back up again. But let's today explore the banana position, the tuck, the straddle, other different shapes, and see how that affects our handstand push-ups. And if you're working towards, it could potentially make things easier or harder. So to warm up, I'm just going to do 3 normal pull-ups. I'm just going to make sure that my chin comes over the bar. For the handstand push-up, let's just go over what the standard positioning is and like the sequencing of things that happen. So I'm going to kick up into a straight handstand. So my best possible handstand line that I have with control. Then I'm going to take the shoulders forwards and the feet backwards. And then I'm going to slowly come down, trying to keep that center of balance all the way through the full pathway and back up again. And at the top, I recorrect the shoulder position and the foot position. So that pathway seems to be the golden standard at the moment. So straight body position, coming down like this, coming back again to that position. Once you can do a comfortable freestanding handstand push-up, that's what you're aiming for. That's where you're gonna get 5 to 10 reps. But most people will get their first handstand push-up with more of a banana type position. Let's do that next after the weighted chin-ups. Now the 2 things that will make the handstand push-up easier is taking the chest and shoulders towards the floor. So we're pressing more in this position and less in this position. So more like a bench press or an incline press. And then the other thing that will help us with the concentric, so they're going back up, is taking something towards the overbalance because it pulls us out of the position. So a lot of people will use the chest as they come down. Got to make sure I don't kick this. So they'll use the chest as they come down like this, but then when they come back up, they've come too low towards underbalance. We need to use the overbalance to pull us back out, and that's where the banana can help us pull back out. So watch what I do with my legs. So standard straight position, but then as I come down, I'm going into a banana. I've got that chest and shoulders facing the floor, which makes it easier. Now I take my legs over, which pulls me towards overbalance. So I don't know if you could see that, but it was taking me back out like that. And that makes it much easier. The risk is that I fall over, especially when I get to the top, or I banana too much and I start to arch too much and I just collapse down there. So there is a technique involved in the banana position, but it definitely makes it much easier, especially when you're first starting. With the 15 now. Let's see what happens when we change the position completely and go to a straddle handstand. See if I can hold the straddle as I do the handstand push-up. So it's going to change the lever arms. It's going to change the percentage of what part of the body is sticking out towards overbalance and underbalance. But if I start in my balanced position at the top, so here, I've got a balanced straddle position now. So my hips have gone back a little bit to compensate for the pike. So the very slight feet being forwards. And then I'm going to come forwards, head touch, and then come back up and go backwards. And I reckon that was probably as easy, maybe slightly harder than the standard position. The one thing that made it easier and similar to that was because the body stayed as one segment. A lot of people, when they go into their shapes, they get a bit of movement and a bit of disconnect throughout the body, throughout the position, and that obviously then takes a lot of energy to control the balance, and it's changing as you move. So as soon as you start to go into your handstand push-up, your hips start to move, or your legs start to move, or the legs don't talk to each other, they don't stay locked in that position, and that's what makes it really hard. So having fixed positions makes things much easier unless you intentionally move the position to help you get through something, like we did with the banana handstand push-up a minute ago. Okay, next to 20 for a double. And for the handstand push-up, let's go to a tuck position. Now the tuck position for me is not the most comfortable position. It definitely took me the longest to get in terms of finding a position where I can keep the shoulders relatively open with a deepish knee position. But there's a lot of people that can go much deeper than me in this position. But let's just see what happens when I come down, touch,
and then push back out. Okay, for me that was much harder to come back out, and I think it was because I had a lot more weight down and forward, so I got stuck in the underbalance and I had to really pull back out and didn't get the benefit of like we used in the banana to take stuff over towards the overbalance. But that would be interesting to know if someone's way more comfortable in the tuck position, how that felt in the handstand push-up. They'd probably find it slightly easier because they'd be able to take their hip over more to compensate for the legs, I'm assuming. But because you're changing the angle, maybe that's not the case. Okay, now I'm going to go to 30 kilos, but with 30 kilos, because there's another 10k jump, I'm going to drop to single reps now. I'm not the strongest at weighted pull-ups, hardly ever do them, so let's see what happens. Oh, just maybe. Hard to know if the chin went over properly there. Okay, next let's try the stag position for the handstand push-up. Now the stag position is an interesting one because it has weight on either side that's equal. It should allow me to move the same as my straight position, but it's a shorter position so it doesn't stack as high. So in some ways it might be easier. A lot of people get their good first holds in the stag position because of that reason where it takes out the long wobbly position and locks, creates that one segment. Yeah, that seemed pretty comfortable. I reckon that was, for me, the same-ish as a straight position, just because I'm used to a straight position, but potentially could be slightly easier. Now, I wasn't 100% that I got the chin over the bar with the pull-up on the last one, so I'm going to swap over to a chin-up where I can definitely get the chin over. Let's see if I can do it for 30 kilos. Yeah, I can do it. These weights are hitting the floor though with this current setup, so it's not the best. Okay, now with the handstand push-ups, let's see what happens if we put them together. So I'm going to start with the hardest variation and go through to the easiest one. So the hardest one for me was the tuck. So let's start with that one, coming down, touching, making sure I open up at the top. Okay, next one, let's do straddle next, I reckon. Ooh, it's getting tricky. And then stag. Let's go straight. Ooh. Okay, let's see if I can get a banana handstand push-up to finish. Okay, that takes the pressure off, making it look pretty. Okay, so that's all of them together. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions with this one. Let me know how strong you are with the weighted chin-ups, weighted pull-ups. Let me know where you are with your handstand push-ups and what your shape looks like when you do them. Remember, the UK workshops are coming up in August. If you'd like any coaching, reach out via the website www.paultwyman.com.au, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.